Alright, so this is going to be a heater. It just up and quit working. Nobody knows why. It is a metal case, halfway decent. Yeah. Warning to reduce the risk of fire. Keep items away. But apparently it doesn't want to tell you what it is. Intertech, 120 volt, 60 amp, 1500 watt. You plug her in, the fan doesn't run, the light doesn't come on, nothing. So it's time to take it apart, see what's in it. Not really expecting much other than a little bit of wire and a fan motor. So let's see.
Rock bottle on the track, boy.
Alright, so go around the top, start taking some screws out. This is probably just holding the handle on. There's probably no need to take that out, but you know, I would imagine the power supply inside of it is probably what's gone bad, and that's why nothing comes on. And that's something people don't think about with their electronics. Is their electronics sit around for, you know, days, weeks, months, whatever, and aren't used, but they're still plugged in. So that power supply is still running. So a lot of times one of the first things to go out in an electronic is the power supply, because it runs constantly. It also affects your power bill. So if you're sitting there with, I don't know, your computer's plugged in, your alarm clock's plugged in, anything, it could be anything that's plugged in, and you're not using it, it's still using power. The power board is still working, and that kind of thing. So thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
So, you know, if you want to reduce your power bill, start putting things on power strips, and if you're not using it, you can flip the switch on that power strip and completely turn the power off to that stuff that you have plugged in it, and then you're not using electricity in your house for no reason, essentially. So yeah, food for thought. Food for thought.
Yeah.
And I've got a lot of stuff that isn't on power switches, strips, that I should probably have on power strips, but yeah. So let's see what we got here. So we got a power cord on this side. We'll cut this. You end up with shred. Handle with shred. So inside, it's really not much in here. So the power actually comes straight in to the switch here. So there's no transformer. So it's probably the switch that's bad. Not the other stuff. This is pretty simply simple made. Yeah. Glad I don't have to talk too well to survive. So all I'm doing is cutting the wire loose from everything so I can get it out of there. Sorry the lighting down here sucks. It's something I'm gonna work on fixing here probably the next week or so. So, if I had to guess, I do not know this for sure, but the electric heat in your heat pump, here's some wire, 55% I think, maybe 70 actually. Anyway, if you have a heat pump and you run a heat pump, you're gonna have the same setup as these in your heat pump. So your heat pump's only good down to about freezing. When the temperature starts getting below freezing, it's really hard for your heat pump to keep up because the Freon just doesn't give off that much of a temperature change to keep your house warm. So you have coils in there, and depending on what the rating of those coils are is to how much heat it gives off, and that's normally set according to the size of your house or maybe the area that you live in. So that's pop riveted in there. This is gonna be a pain. So anyway, inside these there's nothing but that coil and the fan. Y'all should be able to see the coil in there. So those coils and your heat pumps sell at a different price. There is an actual whatever category for them. I would think these are the same. It's a special type of metal that they're made out of, so they can heat up and get red and do all that wonderful stuff. So that's basically the same thing as in your heat pump. Am I going to go through a bunch of trouble to get all of this out of there? No, I'm not, because they're pop riveted in. I'd have to drill them with a drill bit to get it loose and take it out, and it's really not worth that time. They're not something that's super you know, super expensive metal or anything like that. Now this piece right here, this is your thermostat, and all a thermostat is like that is basically a couple different metals, and these metals heat up at different temperatures. So one metal bends and the other metal doesn't bend as fast, or how do I explain this? I tell you what, let's do it this way. So your thermostat's like that, and that's the way a whole lot of thermostats are. But if you take something, we'll say this is a handle, but it doesn't matter. So you have a strip of metal here. So one side is, say, copper, and the other side is brass or whatever. It doesn't matter. Half of it's one, half of it's the other. So one metal heats up faster than the other metal, or it expands, the molecules expand, maybe I should say, faster. So if you have, let's say, aluminum on one side and copper on the other, aluminum has a lower melting point. So as it heats up, that metal's going to want to bend this direction because the aluminum is expanding and the copper isn't, because it's nowhere close to that melting point or whatever. So you put your contact on the end, so this side right here is mounted and the contact's over here. So as it heats up, that bends until it makes contact, and then it says, oh, well, it's that temperature, or oh, turn it on, or whatever you want. And then as it cools off, this metal on this side contracts back and it bends back straight, and it breaks that contact, and that makes it turn off. So that's what a lot of your switches are. That's the whole the whole thing behind them. It's not, I guess it's kind of scientific, but it's not rocket science. It's just how fast the molecules expand from one metal to the other, so they make, you know, 2 layers of metal pressed together, and that makes it bend. Just for those of y'all that didn't know that. So here's your fan motor. This will work just like any of the fan motors out of microwaves and stuff like that. You can compress this side right here. This will release and you can take that winding right out of there. Nice little piece of aluminum here, and it looks like it's got a brass piece in the center that can be popped out as well. Pretty sure the dust is free, just saying, but you can stick your little screwdriver or something right in there and pop that ring out, and that brass piece will come out, and then you'll have some cast aluminum with a piece of brass to add to the stack. You got a little bit of wire to add to the stack, and you got some shred. That's pretty much it. Not much to it. Oh, don't forget the power wire. Yeah, decent size. That's probably about $1 worth scrap value. And you can cut the end off and take the brass out of the end too, but we're not doing that to this because we have another use for this. So I hope y'all enjoyed. Hope that information helped y'all. That's really what I make these videos for, is to try to help people, give them information they don't have. Sometimes you get, like today, you get a little science in there and you know, explain that. But other than that, that's it. Y'all have a good one.